What's going on, good folks? This is Cutting Kev in the place to be. I'm here with my best friend and business partner,
Will Gardner, Atlanta's favorite Forex filmmaker.
and right now we just here just chopping it up during this quarantine, during this lockdown. We want to just go ahead and just chop it up with the people. So to get things popping, let's go ahead and start with the obvious of what's going on in the world. This pandemic of what's going on, this COVID-19, this coronavirus. What do you think is happening to people as a result of being on lockdown?
I believe they're being hit with an awakening. I believe for the last 10, 20, maybe even 30 years, we've been living in this steady comfort bubble where people are figuring out that they can find comfort in their everyday lives, even if they're not maximizing their full potential, even if they're not living their dream, even if they're not going into entrepreneurship or being an independent person, independent business owner or investor. I believe that this time is very significant and we don't realize exactly how significant it is because we're still right in the midst of it. But one thing that I do believe deep in my heart is that things will never ever be the same as they was before this pandemic. So it's a lot of people that's being super productive. It's a lot of people that's just really devastated. I believe that a situation like this is letting people know where they truly are in their spirit, in their mind, and then that also bleeds over and reflects into their business too. So in my opinion, I believe that this is just an eye opener to a lot of people, letting them know that they need to find ways to become independent and have the freedom to live beyond the government or beyond their job. This pandemic has showed people that they're very dependent on things that's not supporting them no matter what.
That's really good. That's really good. It makes me think about, I think people, they don't really know what to do with themselves. I want to take it into more of a lifestyle type of thing because I think a lot of people always talk about if I had more than 24 hours in a day or more than 12 hours in a day, then I will be able to do more with my day. Now that they have more than 24 hours or more than 12 hours to make things happen within their day, I don't see them doing too much of anything. And this is just from a social media perspective, but I think that the fact that you get more time to do less because you don't know what you want to do, I think that's really a big key as far as why people aren't as productive. Productivity doesn't have to do with how much time you have. It's how much time you have to do with the productivity throughout the day. And what I mean by that,
I might need to say you need to elaborate on that.
And what I mean by that is that people wish that they had more time in the day. They wish they like, oh, I wish there was more than 24 hours and this, that, and the third, but they're not taking advantage of the full 24 hours or the 12-hour day or work day that they have. I think that if they knew what they needed to do and what they needed to get done within those 12-hour shift, 8-hour shift, or 16-hour shift or whatever the case may be, within that 24 hours, that they can make it more beneficial in being more productive throughout the day. But I think now, all this lockdown is doing is really revealing more of who they are and what they've been doing. I think when you talk about it, you going through the struggles that you went through, you talk about locking the body and freeing the mind. So I think that now that we have the bodies locked down, a lot of people don't know what to do with themselves because they have more time to work on themselves.
Okay.
They got more time to work on themselves. And I think the biggest thing is if you don't like where you are and who you are, you're going to have an issue working on that because you're afraid of where you want to go and what you want to be. But during this time, you have nothing but time to go ahead and work on that, put the nails into the wood, you go ahead and build that foundation. But I think the biggest thing is a lot of people are not being as productive as they can be. During this whole lockdown and quarantine, I think it is really just getting to know oneself and where they really want to be in life.
100%. And I just want to piggyback off that. It comes down to the number one question we ask our each other, we ask other people, and it's a universal question. It's so simple. It's 4 words. What do you want? What do you want? And when you know exactly what you want, your productivity, your vision, your direction, it doesn't get stirred. It doesn't get steered, no matter if it's a recession, no matter if it's a virus, no matter if it's a lockdown, whatever the case is. And I believe a lot of people, they struggle with desire issues. They don't necessarily know what they want, or this world has allowed them to be put in a bubble of complacency and comfort, and that's keeping a lot of people from not necessarily knowing what they want. But I believe that God works in mysterious ways. I believe that just like you got to lock the body to free the mind, sometimes you have to sit yourself down and realize that busy does not always mean productive.
That's good.
A lot of people are busy. A lot of people working 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week. A lot of people working part-time jobs and have businesses on the side. A lot of people are ducking into their hobbies or ducking into their crafts or considering things as their passions. But at the same time, that being busy does not mean you're always necessarily productive. When you know exactly what you want, nothing really can steer you off that course.
Which leads me to this question. What would be your top two tips that you would give in being productive during the lockdown?
My top two tips for being productive during the lockdown would be, one, to meditate. Because, disregard everything that's happening in this world. When things are going bad, pray, give it to the Creator. Understand that everything that we're doing is bigger than us. Two would be to, once you get that answer, because I swear if you really ponder and you really submit and give your doubt, give your questions, give all of that concern, give it to the man upstairs, you're going to get some type of an answer. You're going to get some type of a thought that you're going to have the choice to act on. So, but I would say once you do get that choice, once you do know that vision, that idea, that direction, then implement. So it'd be meditate, one, and implement, number two. So once you get it, implement. And the thing about implementation, what a lot of people do, we're both videographers, we're both aspiring masters of our craft or whatever. But one thing that can be a curse is being a perfectionist. When you're a perfectionist, you're going to always be like, well, what else do I need? How can I make this a little bit better? Do I need to get the website? Do I need to get the domain name? Do I need to get the LLC? Do I need to get the business card or whatever? But I really live by this philosophy. Done is better than perfect. Get it out. Don't be afraid. You see, and we all on social media and people are bored. You see how quick people pumping out these TikTok videos? Why can't we step into a temporary state or phase of discomfort and create something that's authentic, genuine, and for ourselves? It don't always have to be a business either. We're not saying be a business owner, be an entrepreneur. That's not necessarily for everybody. But maybe some people need to change their diet. Maybe some people need to stop drinking pop and drink water. Maybe some people need to do exercise or do some yoga. Maybe take some deep breaths, ground themselves, go out, get some sun, Figure out what it is that you want. Figure out what does your body need. We have this thing where we wake up at the same time every single day. We get into our body. I believe that a lot of people are not getting into their body. What I mean by that, I just want to elaborate real quick. It's a real powerful thing to wake up very, very early. I strongly believe that. I believe that you have an edge or an advantage in life when you're waiting on the day instead of the day waiting on you. Instead of waking up, ooh, my alarm, ooh, I got to get dressed, ooh, I got to be here, ooh. Instead, you get to wake up, drink some water, take a deep breath, drop to your knees, have a prayer, a moment of meditation and just getting your vibration in a state of gratitude. That allows you to be 100% clear on what the next steps is in life, So I believe that's very, very important.
That's good advice. That's good advice. Any questions that you would have from myself or the people? Just like if you had a self-involved question, something that you're going through that you would like to ask the people for responses for our next pod or talk.
Yeah, I want to know this. I want to know your perspective on it. So this pandemic has revealed a lot of fear within people's minds, hearts, and spirits. Fear can really damage you in a place that's unseen. Mm-hmm. You could be doing incredibly well, have everything looking good on the surface, but fear can be working on your dreams and fear can be working on your heart in ways that no one will ever see. So my question is for people that is hurting or is battling fear, what are some ways that they can heal from the damage of fear in the past so they can keep fear away and just prosper in the future?
I believe that one way to overcome fear would definitely be to have belief. Everybody has their own race to run. And I think that overcoming fear, you have your own hurdles to go overcome. So when you talk about overcoming fear, you really have to look yourself in the mirror. One thing is being able to understand what is it that you truly want that makes you happy. Figuring that out. Asking yourself that every single day. What makes me happy? What do I do and what do I enjoy every single day? If I never got paid for it, not once a day in my life, this would still fulfill me and make me happy.
Every single day.
Every single day. I love what I do. If I didn't get paid for what I do, I would still do it. I love what I do. Like it's ingrained in me. It's engraved in my DNA. Like this is what I love to do. So you have to ask yourself, what do you love to do? That's one. I think the second thing is be consistent at that. And this is the next step. Once you figure that out, it's actually moving on to molding that and sharpening that to be a better angle or pointed pencil to go ahead and start writing your way into the next dimension, writing your way into the next step or the next phase of where you want to be. Because money isn't everything. Money isn't everything. So I would say consistency. And the last thing I would honestly say is being plugged into the source. What is your source? I think a lot of people think that their source is money. Like if I had enough money to go ahead and make this happen, that everything would be good. Money brings about a certain type of happiness, but money doesn't bring about the whole about or aroundness of happiness. Like I'm truly happy knowing and being a part of God's world. God is my source. God is my plug. I think a lot of people don't plug into the source of where their actual gift comes from. I don't think a lot of people understand that. And I think a lot of people actually, if they do understand it, they take it for granted, because now we're even taking for granted during this whole COVID situation of going outside. I don't think we appreciate the things that are given to us, and we don't appreciate the things that God has blessed us to see that's bigger than the picture that we see in front of our eyes. And those are my three things, or my three tips will be consistency, figuring out what it is that truly makes you happy, or what your gift is, and then figuring out what source does it come from, which for me, my source is God.
Those are probably the most three powerful tips I've ever heard. We got it on camera. But I just want to piggyback on the source, because just think of your life, your energy, your life force is a battery. Yeah. You know how you look at your phone, you be like, oh, I'm on 8%. We rush, and sometimes we panic to get our phone to a phone charger. But what happens when our spiritual battery is low? What happens when our mental, our emotional, the intangible batteries of our own life is low? Do we still have that same urgency to refill, to recharge? And then at the same time, what is our outlet? Is our outlet God? Is it? I want everybody should reflect on that. What is your true source? Because you just blew this whole conversation up. Because when it comes to the source, a lot of people think that money is the source. And I always break this down. It's like three things. It's like very important, essential parts of life. Like I always say, the most important thing in life is your peace. Your peace is the most important thing. But then the most important asset in your life is time. Your time is the most valuable asset. It's the most consistent, continuous. They always say, Father Time is undefeated. Yeah. And then the most important tool, not asset, not thing. Tool is money. Yeah. Money is a tool. Money's nickname, or money's original, the root of what is money? Money is currency. Currency, when you think of currency, the root word of currency is current. When I think current, I think of electricity and I think water, like a river. They both flow. The way they work is to flow. Money works when money moves. And that's all it is. Money is a tool meant to flow, and it allows our lives to flow. Whatever the desire is, we can use money as a tool, but it's not our source. I'm depressed, I need more money. That's where a lot of people struggle at. Or I don't necessarily have all of the right equipment to manifest my dreams. That's not the source. That's not the source. So what would be your advice for someone, an upcoming individual? What would be your advice to someone that's trying to overcome the spirit of lack?
Ooh, that's good. Overcoming the spirit of lack. I definitely first going back to what I said before is you have to figure out what it is that you want. That is the foundation. That is the root of everything. If you're going through life not understanding where you want to go and what is it that you truly want, and what do you want out of it, that's the base of what is going on. But trying to get out of the spirit of lack, I think you have to understand that we talked about belief before, but you have to have a certain type of belief that you deserve what it is that's coming your way. So for people that are operating in the spirit of lack, you have to truly overwhelm yourself in extreme confidence and belief that you know whatever it is that you're, I wouldn't necessarily say selling, but whatever you're giving or whatever service that you're offering to the next person, you have to know that it's truly coming from the heart and it's coming from a genuine place, because I believe that karma is real. So whatever you're willing to give and dish out to other people, you have to understand that that's going to come back tenfold. It's not on your time, but it's on God's time. So if you know that whatever you're giving is coming from a great place, a good place, a place of solitude, a place of a sturdy foundation, then you have to understand that it's going to come back right when it needs to happen.
You just said something very, very powerful. We have to understand the power of our words. Our words create our life. We're a product of the words that we associate with, that we hear, that we speak, and that we hear other people speak into our lives. So you got to protect your ears. But one thing my mentor he always got on me heavy about was when I used to use one word, the word need. Need, if I communicate and say, Kevin, I need $1 million. You human to human, you understand what I'm saying. Right. We got to grind. We got to go ahead and get this money. Okay. But we're also, every time we speak, we're also having a conversation with the universe. And the universe is a mirror. The universe is a magnet. So whatever we display, we distribute, we reflect, we're going to get that right back. So I'm saying to you, I need $1 million. But translation, what I'm saying to the universe is I don't have $1 million. So when I'm saying I need, I'm saying I don't have. And what I'm going to get to the universe, I don't have. The universe is a mirror. So be careful of how you use the word need and what follows I am. They're not understanding the conversation, not that they're having with the individual or the internet, but they're neglecting the conversation that they're having with the universe, which is really more important because that's what's going to manifest their life. And that's what takes me into I am. Now we're really talking about ourselves and our own manifestation. I firmly believe that what follows I am follows you.
I love that.
I used to work at Motor City Casino in Detroit, Michigan. It was fun. I worked the night shift, but at the same time, the coworkers was making really good money, but no one was happy. And misery loves company. I really understand that. In that environment, you'd hear people feed off of negativity. You hear people say things. It don't come off as negative, but it's just like, man, I just watched the news. I heard Donald Trump about to do some blah, 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 blah. Oh, really? I just watched Love and Hip Hop and they about to fight on here. And then it just kind of transitioned into, my back hurts. I'm tired. I'm just sick of this. I'm sick. You're creating that. There's the universal mirror. It just turned on. I'm tired. So as soon as you say I'm tired, now you're really going to feel tired. As soon as you say I'm sick, now you planting it's like a chemical, it's a chemical reaction. Because who are you with 100% of the time? Yourself. Yeah. Who are you listening to 100% of the time? Because I got to live with me 100% of the time, So what are you listening to? Who are you listening to? You listen to yourself, number one. Sometimes we're our own biggest enemy, our own biggest problem. If you think of the word enemy, say enemy slow. Enemy. It's an old African proverb that says when there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. Mm-hmm. We gotta figure out our own enemy. Ooh. Because we're reflecting things on the inside about ourselves that is projecting into the real world. So we gotta figure out, how do we feel better about ourselves? Another thing, my mentor, she used to say, look, I'd be like, yo, I'm doing my work or whatever. She'd be like, I understand you're doing the work. Work works, faith faith without works is dead and all that stuff. But What spirit are you operating in?
Ooh, that's good.
What spirit are you operating in? 'Cause you can be saying the right things and doing the right things, but if you're feeling the wrong things, you'll still have a negative outcome. If you look at the word, I love E's, right? So even like look at the word ego. The E represents energy. Ego, that energy must go.
That's good.
Emotions.
Yeah.
Your emotions is energy in motion. So when I say what spirit are you operating in, it's basically asking a question, do you choose your emotions or do your emotions choose you? You know, it's real, like, because that determines our day.
Let's get a little bit into the emotional aspect of things, because I feel like life happens. Could you agree that life happens?
For sure.
So when you have death in a family, when you have death in a relationship, when you have death in a business, I think that death happens more over the course of time than we actually see it in the physical sense. I think, what are your thoughts when it comes to going and overcoming the death in not just in the physical, but in the materialistic or in the relationship aspect? How do you overcome what's happening in your right now to have a better setup for what you want into the future?
Right back to it. What spirit am I operating in? What I do is get myself on a vibration where I'm above my circumstance, where I'm above my sight. Because I've been there. I'm sure we've all been there. But have you ever been in a situation where, like you said, death has happened? Someone has died in the family. A job opportunity may have died. A business, a client maybe didn't come through. There was some form of death. But at the same time, you get to choose how is that integrated into your life, right? Like when you think of an L, it's part of life. What's the first letter of life? You're gonna have some L's, okay? But the question is, it's based on your perspective. Is that L gonna be a loss or a lesson? You know, so, but it goes back to your words. It all ties back into your words. Both life and death is in the power of the tongue. So you can speak life to death and you can bring life to it. I can be going through a circumstance and keep talking about, I hate my job, I don't like this, I'm tired, blah, 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 blah. And I can continue to just keep adding life to I'm creating a zombie, you know, it's dead, but it's alive, you know. You can speak life to death, and you can speak life to life, and you can speak death to life, and you can speak death to death. You know, you can kill a bad situation with what you say. You can amplify a bad situation by what you say. You can amplify a great situation by what you say. And you can minimize a great situation by what you say. It all comes back to the tongue.
I love it.
The tongue is the sword. So hope I answered your question.
Absolutely. That was fire. Wow. Be careful of your words. Be careful of the words that you use, because maybe 99.9% of the time you are what you speak. I am follows you. That is big. That is big. So during this situation, through everything that's happening and going on within the world, through everything that's going on within your life, you have to control what you can control. I think that's the biggest thing that I've really gotten from that, is you have to control what you can control. You control only what goes on within your bubble, within your space. You can pray for a lot of people. You can meditate for others, but they have to do the work. You have to do the work. The work has to be done, and that's what you have to really understand. One of the biggest things that the last thing that I really want to go into is, what life lessons will you leave the people when encountering this lockdown? What life lesson would you like to leave the people while encountering this lockdown?
Keep the faith. Keep the faith. This is just another revelation of fear versus faith. We have an opportunity to move in our strength or move in fear. And it shows what a lot of people is doing based off of the aisles in Walmart. You know, are you strengthening your immune system, or are you trying to defend your weakness? Are you looking down, or are you looking up? Is the glass half empty or half full? So let's just keep it on Corona real quick. Based on my mindset, am I going to buy masks and toilet tissue, or am I going to buy orange juice and vitamins? You know, Do you have a mindset where you're looking up? Do you see opportunity to strengthen, to get better and grow? Or do you see opportunity, well, things is bad, so I better get prepared for the worst? You know? So I would just say shift your perspective on what it is that you want and where it is that you're going, and just move in faith. This should be a time, we're talking so much about productivity, and this is the time to build your business and make money for all that stuff. But this is really the time to strengthen your faith, because God is revealing fear on purpose, and God is revealing faith on purpose. Be intentional with your faith and minimize that fear. Minimize the fear, destroy and eliminate fear.
That's good. That's good. So those are our last words. Are you seeking the problems or are you seeking the solution? So our biggest thing is we just wanted to go ahead and come to you from our quarantine lockdown couch and just really go ahead and give you guys our perspective, our conversation of what we think of what's going on in the world. So with that being said, this is Cutting Kev of LRP checking out.
And this is Will Gardner, Atlanta's favorite Forex filmmaker, signing out. It's been real.